Can you get on the link real quick? On the restream. Hey, Daryl, you there? Yeah, you haven't got on the link yet. Can you go ahead and get on the link to make sure it's going to work on the restream? I thought you'd already be on, so yeah. Hello, 1, 2, testing, testing. All right. There we go.
Andy,
Okay, talk to me again.
check 1 2, check 1 2.
Yes.
Can you hear me on the restream?
I got you. Yeah. Turn. Let me see. Hang on a second here. Let me turn you off on. Let's see, but they're not going to be able to hear you if you're muted. So you don't have. You have everything muted in where you're at. You don't have because I'm hearing myself. They can hear me.
Okay, what?
You need to mute. You need to mute me on something. I don't know how we're going to do this.
Okay,
Mute
hold
me.
on. So I have to go to Turbo and mute myself.
Okay, I can mute you there.
Go ahead. Okay.
You're muted
Okay, so you
there.
can hear me here on a restream.
Right, I can hear you on the restream, but they can't hear you on. They cannot hear you on Turbo because I got you muted.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I think being on both, you're gonna get that feedback if I'm on both. I have an earpiece in on the computer, so to
Okay.
block out background noise, but they still
Right.
having the audio.
Right. Right. They have. Well, you got. Yeah, you got audio. You're on audio. Okay, hang on a second. Let me do something here. We're gonna figure this out. It's gonna be fun. Once we get it going on, it'd be great. Uh, let's see which one of those do I want. I think that's the one that I want. There we go. Okay, so you're not going to be on the video. I'm going to have you on audio there. Um, we're gonna work this out. If we have to do it all live, we have to work it out live. That's what we're going to do something. We're going to make it work one way or the other. Okay, hang on a second. Uh, trying to get my video going on here. Okay, so we have that and that and that. Okay, I can't hear you very well. Are you doing something to your audio?
No, I just walked away. I'm right here.
Okay, there you are. Okay, I thought maybe something went weird. Man, we have so many things go weird sometimes. You never know. Um, okay, so which one are we doing? How's this interview start with you on the one that we're doing with you? I don't know if I have it sent to my. I think I've sent it to my other computer. I need to do that real quick. Okay, give me a second here. Okay, how does the interview start? What would be the most?
Uh, Hold on, Randy. Give me 1 second, real quick. Um,
Let's see. I think I have your name, Daryl. Questions here. I think I got it now.
right now, I have these first 13 questions.
Right.
Where you want to go from there? I don't know. Now, do you want to keep me on Restream or on Turbo?
Hang on a second. Okay, so we got 13 questions. I'm gonna have to. I haven't numbered them on my other thing here. I'll take me a second to do it. Even if we have to talk all this stuff out live, I really don't care. I want to make it. I want to try to make it work the best we can. If we can't do Turbo and this at the same time, I don't know. People just may have to get on Restream. But I want to be able to do both. I don't understand why we can't do both. We're gonna work on that tonight. Okay, so 8, 9, 10. Okay, that way, you tell me. In case you tell me which one you're on, I'll know also which question you're on, in case we get lost. So we've only got, let's see, we've only got 12. Is that right? This is Daryl's. How does that first question start out? This is probably the question everyone's thinking about. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hello, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I lost you. Where'd you go? What is it?
Okay.
What does the first question start out with? This is probably the question everyone's thinking about.
Yeah,
What
so it
is it?
says basically, will I still get my paycheck if the dollar crashes?
Yeah, that's the one. Okay. So you say you got 13, 3, 4. Oh, there we go. That's where I messed up. Okay.
Now here's where I might, if we go past the 13, Randy, I got to toggle back and forth between restream and your text, and it looks like for some reason on my phone when I toggle, you can't hear me if I go back. I already have the first 13, 14 questions written down, but if I'm toggling back and forth with these other ones,
Yeah.
it may be a little bit of a break. That's all.
Oh, that's okay. 10. Like I say, if we have to work this out live, they will love listening to it, I'm sure. Okay, so we are at least last night I got on the wrong I got so many of these interviews, man. I've got bunches of them, so sometimes I don't get the right one. Okay, so I got the questions up right. I'm going to send that to my other computer. So give me a second.
Can I have him send me some
That way I
questions
have it
or
in front of
questions
me.
too, just in case I need to look at them on the screen? Okay, because he only sent it to me on the text. Or, okay. So,
Yeah, that's no problem.
I hear a lion roaring in the background. Who is that?
Oh, well, if you hear that, then Randy, my audio must be pretty good because we were speaking real low. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Randy, I might have you also those text questions, or those questions you texted me earlier, the 13 or the second set. Can you send that to Nicole too while we're on live? Because I just need another screen to maybe look at them if we're kind of going and flowing and we don't want to stop. So,
Okay, hang on a second. So thank you. That's a good. So not you want me to send the one we're on tonight to her?
yes.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Why isn't this happening here? I just sent that and it didn't go. Oh, that's because I don't have. Okay, here we go. All right. AirDrop. All right, it went. Okay, so now I'm going to send this to ask her to check all of her. Sometimes I send some to her on this one and she doesn't get them for some reason. I don't know why exactly. So she might need to check both of her phones or whatever.
Okay.
Or both of the texts that come from both of my phones. Okay. Copy.
Okay.
Okay, here comes Nicole's. I'm sending this to Nicole right now. Paste. Okay, I just sent her the questions. And now, what other questions did I need to send to her? You need more questions also. If we do more, we're gonna stop here.
I'm good up to question 13.
Okay. All right. Let's just do that then. Wonderful. All right. Let's do this thing. I'll kind of warm it up a little bit, and you might mute yourself. Okay. She said she got it received. Okay. Great. Thank you, Nicole, for that. Received it. Thank you. It always helps to let me know. Sometimes makes a big difference. Okay, so Barbara is on. Barbara, hi Barbara, good to see you tonight. Studio restream. What did I do? Send that to y'all? How did I do it? That's funny. Okay. All right. So here we go. All right, everyone. We are, as you can tell, we are doing a new system the last couple of weeks, and so we haven't worked the bugs out yet because we just haven't. And so we may do that a little bit publicly, so we know you guys understand, and it'll be a lot of fun. So I have my headphones on tonight, and because my other earphones just weren't working that well, I want to make sure we don't mess up anything. I want to do my best not to mess up anything, but I have no guarantees that I will not mess up something. So, okay, so there we are. I think we're on. I have my headphones on. That is not my ears, so I don't know how to say anything about it. Okay. Here we go. Let's do this. I'm moving so many things around right now. I'm not used to having these headsets on, man. You can't hear anything. It's like you're totally muffed out from the world. Wow. Okay, let's see here. We are doing this. And we are on. Okay, so if I don't have you on, okay, I'm going to remove you from, okay, I'm going to unmute you now. Daryl, let's, everybody, we are testing, so y'all just pray for us real quick. I'm going to unmute you on Turbo, and let's see what it sounds like. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, check 1, 2. Can you hear a background noise? Or do you hear a background noise?
I can't hear anything. That's awesome. Say testing or do it again. Testing one more time, please.
Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Randy Channel
Okay.
live.
Yeah, RCM on Tuesday. And we also have Daryl with us tonight, and Nicole's in the house because I'm sending her stuff that Daryl's having to make sure that she keeps him straight, which was probably a good idea.
Thanks, Randy.
You're welcome, man. Hey, that's what women are for, right? If we don't have women, we're not straight. That's what we got to have women for. So
That's right. You can say that again.
If we don't have the Holy Spirit, they're our Holy Spirit. But when we get the Holy Spirit, they remain Holy Spirit number 2.
Amen.
Yeah. Okay. So this is really interesting. Okay. So I think we actually got it. I think we figured it out, dude. So you have earphones on Restream, right, on your computer?
No. So
Yeah.
here's how I have it right now, because you mentioned this when we did it last time. I have a plug-in, so I'm on the computer. I'm on Turbo, and I plug my headphones to the computer for Turbo. Restream, I have you on my phone. You're just live. You sent me the link. I'm on that, so you're hearing.
Oh.
Yeah, and
So
that's the setup that's going on right now.
okay, good. So that way we'll have it documented. So you have Restream on your phone.
I have Restream on the phone, and I have Turbo
Turbo
Bridge
on the
on the
computer.
computer, and
Awesome.
the audio hookup is going into Turbo on the computer on the laptop.
Okay, good. I'm glad you voiced that out. That's really great. And excuse me a little bit right there. Okay, so okay, let me kind of introduce this in case we have people who listen for the first time. Yes, I do have headphones on. That is not, my head has not gotten big. My head is already big. I have headphones on. And it's not cold in here, even though I do have my air conditioning working. That's not that. What do you call those? Earmuffs? It's not earmuffs. All right, it's headphones. All right, so we're experimenting with things, and really cool. Let me make sure I get this all right here. There we go. Okay, so we are going to do an interview style, kind of a giving an understanding on what's going on with being a wise virgin. In other words, we don't want people we want people to understand what's going to happen when the dollar goes down. Okay, we don't know when, we don't know where, and we don't know how, but someday. Anyway, that's kind of a joke. But so everybody knows that the dollar is going to eventually crash. The countries in the world that don't like us, they want it to crash. They want the dollar to crash. So you're gonna have to get a hold of that and realize that. You want to say something?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So I thought you were saying, yeah. So we know that China and Russia and all the people that don't like us, including Iran, but Iran's about to change. By the way, let me give you a little report on Iran. I think I gave a report last night on this, but let me give another report on it. We gave the word about Iran being the regime, the evil regime of Iran being taken down uh, through Azerbaijan a long time ago, and having and getting the same government that Azerbaijan has, which is a secular government. And in fact, Azerbaijan has been being used for years to take them down. They cannot take any credit for any of that right now because Iran is still being mean and ugly. So they're neighbors, and so there will not be any credit given to them of their own until this whole thing is settled. But here's what's happening: the what happened just this weekend is that the prince of the Shah of Iran, the Prince of Iran, it's what they call him. It's his official name is the Prince of Iran, uh, who is Israel friendly and Azerbaijan government style, which is secular. He has just been basically voted in as the person to make the transition for Iran. Now you have to understand that, y'all, that the Iranian people have been under the oppression of Khomeini for a long time, a religious, just very harsh religious order, and it's just been absolutely like Hitler, or I don't know, really, really bad. And I think most of you know about that. But so we've really been praying. I've been asking everybody to pray for Iran, for the people, so that they can get set free. All right, so that they can get a new regime going on or a new government going on. And so that has actually happened. We gave that word on May the 20th, 2024, not 2025, but 2024, in case you're listening to this for the first time. And so we gave that word on Monday, on the 20th of May, 2024, that I'm going to break the news to you guys. This is the way we gave it to you. It was a top secret. And when the helicopter went down with the Iranian president in it, the regime president of Iran, when it went down, from being in Azerbaijan, the word was so connected, and it all revealed to me that I could now share that secret, that what was going on, the purpose of all this, and that was a signal to me to go ahead and tell people that what I knew from many years ago, that Iran was going to be taken down, the regime, not the people, but the regime, will be taken down through Azerbaijan. We're going to find that will come out to be true later. All the testimonies and the documentation will come out that that's exactly what happened, because it's already happening. And so now the Prince of Iran just was voted in, basically, or approved of by the European countries, the leaders there, to make the transition, which he will probably end up being king. But what they're doing is they're giving the people, they're setting the people free. They're giving the people a chance to have a real election. And so they're going to have a democracy instead of what they've had before, a dictatorship, basically. So that's actually happening, y'all. That actually happened this weekend. They're kind of waiting for there's a lot of mysterious explosions going on in Iran. Nobody really knows exactly who's doing it, but we know that what they're doing is Mossad, IDF, and people from within Iran are all working together to finish off the regime, so that they cannot. When the people start rising up to vote, they won't come out and start shooting everybody. They're going to have it all under control. That's actually what's happening right now. That's all being done as we speak. And so literally this thing is about to become global news as soon as it happens, and as soon as the Iranian people get free from being oppressed. What is set in 1970? How many years is that up to now? That's 1970 to 2025. How many? 45 years, 46 years of bondage. If you didn't have your head covered correctly, they would put you in jail, beat you, and sometimes kill you. So that just kind of tells, talking about women mainly, but it was a real bondage, y'all. This has been a really, 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 really big thing, And it is literally, we're about to see it in our lifetime happen. I mean, literally, it's just physically happening. And so it's been a long time process. I knew about it. God showed it to me back in 2007, 2008. I didn't even understand what he was telling me when he told me. He said through Azerbaijan, the Iranian regime would be taken down, or Iran would be taken down, not the people, but the regime. And so I gave that word to Mike Jacobs. He looked at me like, Azerbaijan, Chandler? He didn't know because it sounded crazy, right? It was crazy to most people. But exactly what has happened is that. And so now they're about to have the same regime as Azerbaijan. And so now it looks like the Prince of Iran, who his father was the Shah of Iran, in this, he was pushed out in the 70s, and had to go off to, I think, to Europe or somewhere. I don't know where he went exactly, but he was run off from being the Shah, from being the leader of Iran. And then they got Khomeini in there. Khomeini just became a dictator, big time, vicious and mean and evil. So it's been horrible. And so Israel is about to have a friend in Iran. It's just so shocking to know that God spoke that, and now we're actually literally watching history in a most Middle Eastern fashion that is unbelievable. To most people are going like, where did that come from? Everybody's talked about regime changes in every country when they need them. Everybody's talked about them. But this one with Iran is not just talked about. The Lord gave specific, information when it wasn't a blink in anybody's eye as far as, going to happen. And all of a sudden the Lord was trying to tell us about it, and we listened and we spoke about it here on PGN. And now that it's literally happened. And you're going to find out that when this goes global, this is going to be, we will be getting about at least 1 billion hits a day with global news, because this is a extreme global issue that's going on. And it will be talked about every day from Al Jazeera. If you know what Al Jazeera is, it's one of the Middle Eastern TV outlets, the platforms that's just really big. And every outlet, every news outlet, the big ones all around the globe, will be talking about that for months after month after month. So that will at least get us 1 billion hits per day, even though our name will not be mentioned and PGN's name will not be mentioned, or RCM. But we all will know that that word came from the Lord here on PGN, and we can be very thankful. I'm very thankful for that we're going to literally physically watch that happen. And it's gonna put us on the map again for about the 100th time. I don't know how many times, bunches of times. We're gonna go through all the times that we made global news without anybody knowing who it was that said it, including the Joni Lamb thing that is still rocking. And it's just been crazy. That one, just on the social media realm, got us a lot of hits without our name being mentioned. And the exact specific information that we gave about them calling Joni a Jezebel. Yeah, so really sad. I didn't call her Jezebel. I just said they were going to call her Jezebel. So that has actually happened too. So we're watching the social media realm and the world, the global televisions, news stations around the world, plus more. It's not just the news stations. It is plus every kind of outlet you can think about that talked about when the United States, when Israel bombed Iran for the first time ever. They've never bombed Iran with nuclear sites, and Iran has never attacked Israel. And both those times happened on the 13th. They both happened on the 13th. That's what's amazing to me. It was absolutely amazing. I told a friend of mine here at PGN, I was talking to him on by text, and I said, "Hey man," I was kidding around, of course. I said, I asked my buddy Netanyahu, can you make sure if you're going to do that, can you do it like on the 13th, just for PGN's sake? You don't mind, do you? And I didn't tell him I was kidding, right, at first. And he sends me back a text. He goes, wow, really? And so eventually, I told him, no, I'm just messing with you. But it was so cool how that worked out. It was on the 13th. It's just mind-boggling. So anyway, so let's talk about this. Thank you, my brother, for being with me tonight. Thank you, Nicole, for being with him and keeping him straight the whole time that we're doing this. That would be really nice. And, let's start it. So I'm going to kind of get a rolling with this. My brother Daryl's on with me tonight on this, and I'm going to appreciate everybody for listening and being a part of this. We're trying to inform you to be wise virgins, to not be foolish virgins. Wise virgins will have oil in their lamp. They will kind of know what's going on. They will be ready when everything hits the fan. They will kind of understand all the ins and outs of this whole situation that's going to happen when the dollar crashes. And so that is the crash that we have talked about for a while. It's been a man-made crash because they're crashing it, including Trump and others have tried to crash it in many different ways. Also China and Russia and others have tried to crash it also because they know if they did that, they're the only ones who has a system that they could they could take over the world in a few months, take over the world in a few months, because they have the system to do it. And I've double confirmed all that. And so it's one of their strategies. And so most people don't talk about it publicly. I don't know if they know it privately or not, but they might not put the puzzle together. Just the way we're trying to put the puzzle together to help people understand that they are ready, and they have been doing everything they can to strip the dollar of its power, including not using it in its business dealings. Because usually every oil contract, every kind of contract you can think of globally is with the US dollar. And so what Russia and China started doing is they started doing business between themselves, left out, they didn't use the dollar anymore. And so that was kind of one of the ways. Now, printing the dollar was a big deal too. That was a big deal. But what I'm talking about, what I'm trying to help people understand is something that maybe they haven't thought about, and that is how China and Russia, how they started doing their own currency exchange and doing selling oil and those kind of things. So that was part of the practice that they were putting together to do away with the dollar, to make the dollar less valuable. It's one of the ways, one of the big ways. In fact, as a nation, they were ready to take over if the dollar went down. About 5 years ago, they were ready for that. And 5 years ago, they launched their system, the one we're talking about. We're going to talk about this tonight for the United States. And the United States one, in the Texas system that we're going to talk about again tonight, is going to supersede it by a long shot. And we're going to try to make that clear tonight again, because tonight I asked Daryl Paul, I said, what question would you like to ask? Let's work on something that you would ask or that you would think that would be important. And what did you say, Daryl? Okay, Daryl, you know, huh?
Can you hear me?
Did I turn you? I guess somehow you went off. I don't know how you got turned off. I didn't turn you off. Wow. Yes. Okay. So I guess it's okay because I was doing all the talking anyway.
Right.
I apologize. I did not know that happened. I couldn't figure out where you went. So Daryl, would you like to start this and kind of tell the people? I think I texted you today and said, what question would you like to ask about this whole thing with the currency exchange, of the dollar going down, and what did you say?
All right. Can you hear me now, Randy? Pretty good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay. So basically, I wanted to know, will American people still be getting a paycheck if the dollar crashes, from our jobs?
Right. Because when the dollar crashes, this is probably one of the questions everyone's thinking about. Especially if they've been listening to us and they're getting alerted about all this. If the dollar collapses, can people still get paychecks from their job? That's what he asked me to do. So that's kind of the bread and butter question, really. And Daryl asked just the right question that most people are thinking about. And so, the short answer to that is, when the dollar crashes, will people still get paychecks? That's a really big one. So the short answer to that is, there will be chaos for a few weeks, actually.
What do you mean by chaos?
Well, let me finish that real quick. So there was going to be chaos for a few weeks, and then employers will scramble to find whatever payment method that actually works. So once the dollar goes down, Daryl, and then if we don't have systems already set up purposely, like with Texas and Trump, what they put together the last couple of months, the chaos will be there for a few weeks, but then the employees will start scrambling around trying to find what kind of payment system actually works. Yeah.
Okay, so until they're trying to figure out what payment systems work, will people be getting paid?
Let's go.
Do you think?
Let's go to number two. I didn't finish number two there. Let me finish
Oh,
number two.
oh, that was a chaos. Yeah, I mean, so what do you mean by, what type of chaos? So
Yeah,
you did answer that
well,
already, Randy.
I did, but I'm trying to learn what we're trying to do is trying to set this thing up so we do it in order. And Daryl doesn't know the answers I'm going to be giving. That's why he's, sometimes he jumps ahead of me a little bit because he doesn't know when the question has been fully answered because I didn't tell him what the answers were. And so that's why. So we're going to work this thing out. It's kind of fun. So I said that there's going to be chaos if the dollar goes down. What's going to happen with people getting their paycheck? It's going to be a little bit of chaos when the dollar crashes with people getting their paychecks. And he's saying, what do you mean by chaos? And so you got to think about it. Your employer's payroll system is set up to pay you in dollars, right? So the whole system's set up on dollars. If dollars become worthless overnight, the computer systems, bank transfers, direct deposits, none of that works anymore at all. It's like trying to send an email without the internet. In other words, if the internet went down, you wouldn't be able to send an email. That's kind of what happens. It's kind of like the internet going down, and then you can't send anything back and forth. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so I guess in the interim, I mean, like I was asking before, people just won't be getting paid until they figure it out.
Right, they can't get paid initially for probably this is one of the worst case scenarios. One of them. Yeah, people will not get paid initially. It's going to take about from 2 to 4 weeks. Payroll would be completely disrupted in that situation because it's like you can't get on the internet anymore and do anything. You can't talk to your mama. You can't go and buy things on this. It's shut down. So it's the same thing. If the dollar shuts down, then it completely disrupts everything. And so yeah, it's going to create. Employees would be just as confused as employers will be just as confused as employees. But people still need to eat, right? I mean, people still need to eat and do business, and so and businesses still need workers. So they're going to find a solution. Why? Because a business has to have workers, and if they're going to have workers, they're going to have to pay them. So they're going to have to find. So solutions will emerge pretty fast, actually.
Okay, so when you mention solutions, what type of solutions? Do you have anything in your head right now? Anything that may come about? Because you use the word solutions, but is there anything you can give us an example of what a solution could be?
Yeah, well, the smart employers, the smart bosses and companies would quickly adopt whatever currency system actually works. Right, they're going to find a way to get you your money. If China's digital yuan is the only functioning payment system, see now here's where China could see what we're talking about tonight. We're trying to explain to people that if the dollar goes down, like in a scenario of tomorrow, before Texas and the United States gets their stuff together, China already has what is called the digital yuan, and it's the only functioning payment system that there is right now. If the dollar goes down, right? So your employer might start paying you in that, which is scary. If Texas cards are working, the debit card, they might switch to that. So that's why we need to make sure that the Texas debit card, the gold card, where you have, where you get gold, and you can buy things. You can get your employee can pay you with by gold also. We're going to talk about that tonight. They might switch to the gold card thing if it's available. So some might even go back to cash or to the barter system temporarily. I don't know how you could go back to cash, and cash is worthless. But so it's going to be a lot of confusion.
Okay, you bring up an interesting point, Randy, when you said it could go back to cash, because I think most people would be wondering, would my employer have a choice of, what to use in that type of situation?
Well, not really. If you're a McDonald's, you know, everybody knows about McDonald's, and you need employees to flip burgers and work, you know, but you can't pay them in worthless dollars. You pay them in whatever they'll accept, right? So whatever they'll take to work. Employee retention becomes more important than currency preference. So what they're going to do, they're going to try to find any way they can pay you to get you to come and keep their business going.
Okay. Okay. So that's with, I guess, you know, maybe everyday jobs, I guess. But what about the government jobs, government people?
Right. I know I have friends that work for in government jobs, and so government workers might actually be better off initially. The government would probably be the first to implement, you know, whatever new currency system that they're switching to. Federal employees might get paid in the new emergency currency before private sector workers will get paid. So and at that time, being a federal employee or a government employee might be a cool thing for a few weeks.
Hmm. Okay. For a couple of weeks. Okay.
Yeah,
So
maybe 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
how long do you think things would get back to normal, if I can call it normal? Because if the dollar crashes, right, things won't be normal. We'll just go back to a new normal. So I guess the question is more like, what's going to be our new normal
Yeah.
after that?
Right. You have to define normal, right? Like you said, within a
Yeah.
month or two, most employees would figure out how to pay workers in whatever the new dominant currency is. But normal might mean getting paid in Chinese digital currency instead of dollars. Because this is the thing we've been trying to warn people about is that the Chinese are ready to set up a payment a system for companies when America is not. Now, believe it or not. Now with the new things that are going on right now, they haven't even launched the things that they have made laws about. Like we've just talked about the laws that Texas made about currency and also with Trump, you know, his genius law about cryptocurrency. They've now made that all legal, so it can fit into the system, but they don't have it launched yet. As far as Texas doesn't have its launch, and the cryptocurrency thing has to be worked into all the systems. So, how long before things get back to normal? Like you said, depending on what it's called normal. Within a month or two, you know, most employees will figure that out, how to pay the workers, and whatever dominant currency is. And so that could be the Chinese yuan instead of dollars.
Hmm. Can I give you an extra question, Randy? You
Yeah,
know, so you just said the Chinese yuan. Now, you spoke many times of us, you know, or just Americans buying into a new system. And if we buy into it, then we won't be able to get out. Would that be the Chinese yuan? If we start getting our
yeah,
paychecks and our money through them, are we going to be able to say, hey, stop, we only did this because we didn't have our stuff ready?
yeah. I don't. Yeah, it's going to be the whole purpose for the Chinese system of the digital currency. They're now prepared. Like they've been doing it for about 5 years. They have a system that we need to should have launched at the same time, so we could have one too. We don't have one, but they do, and so their whole purpose is to get us to when the dollar falls apart. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. We don't want to talk about all those things right now. We talked about some of them last week about people selling their houses to the Chinese to get money so they can buy food, right? So if the Chinese come in, we don't have a system ready yet. The Chinese come in and they say, you know, go to our app and sign your name on here and give us your and we will buy your house. Your house may be worth $100,000. Well, they'll give you 20,000 for it. But at least people are going to fall for that because they're going to go, well, like, you know, I got to have food, man. My children are starving. I got to pay my bills. So I'm going to get, you know. So that's their plan. That's what they've got planned. It's a very secret plan, just like the thing with Iran and Azerbaijan. That whole thing was a big secret. You never heard anybody talk about that. The Lord showed it to me. And the same thing that we're trying to tell people here, trying to warn people ahead of time, that this is something that everybody knows. China is our competition. China is a dictatorial state or country or whatever. We all know that, as well as Russia and North Korea and others. But the thing that they're not being told, Daryl, is that the Chinese want the dollar to go down so they can come in and save you. In other words, they will be sending you an email or a text or something and say, uh, they were not going to tell you they're Chinese. They're going to say, we hear that you're having problems making your house payments and buying food because the dollar crashed. Well, we have a system that can make transactions with Walmart right now. We have a system that can make transactions with whatever right now. So you know what people are going to do? They're not going to starve to death, right? Most people, they're going to go, oh, okay, I'll sell you my house for 20,000. Okay, I'm not. I want to starve to death. So people are going to go for that. And they're going to, and if that happens, it's going to be happening by the millions, by the multiple millions and millions and millions of people, because most people are going to be, they're so, if they're not a strong Christian in the Word of God, they're going to be falling for things left and right, just trying to survive, right? So that's why we're sending out a warning saying, if the dollar goes down, I'm not saying the dollar's going to go down tomorrow, but if the dollar goes down tomorrow or sometime soon, because we're looking at September 2026 for Texas just to launch. It's a better system. Once they launch it, it's a better system what China had. It's a much better system, but because it's backed by gold, and theirs is just like promises. But it does work. The Chinese system does work, and so because if we do not have one set and ready to go, then we're going to have a problem. And once that Chinese, here's the answer to your question. Sorry, I'm trying to get as much as I can. Once China has your house, let's say China gets your house for 20,000 because you wanted food. Now, if you don't sell them your car, you don't get rid of your whatever else that you have, and you still have that, you can have that. But because you sold your house, you will never get that house back. You will not be able to pay them and pay that $20,000 and get your house back. They've got you. So that's their plan. There you
go. So one more fellow question, Randy. Whether it's tomorrow, next year, or whenever, is the demise of the dollar imminent?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason that it is, I mean, look at what the government's doing right now, Daryl. This is all fact. This is not conspiracy theories. Donald Trump just passed a law that opened up the door for Texas, the gold system with Texas, to work together with it so that it can, in case the dollar falls, it can, have a net, in other words, to keep everybody from running to China. They already know this. They know more about what's going on with China than anybody. So yeah. So what was your question? I can't repeat your question again. I think I got lost.
No, that was just, I mean, it was just, I know you said it's not going to happen tomorrow, or it may happen before 2026, but I just wanted to reiterate that the demise of the dollar was imminent. It's going to happen at some point, and probably sooner than later.
Yes. And they know that. That's what I was trying to explain. Thank you for helping me out there. Yeah, and they know it, and it's all over the news. I mean, this isn't just something in the corner, right? This has been done out in the public. The currency law, the cryptocurrency law was huge, and the Texas laws, of course, was huge too. So why do you think I mean, look what happened. Texas passed a law 1 month about all this, and the president passed a major law within 30 days of the Texas law being passed. Look how they're coincidentally working together. And so once I saw that, I mean, I was really nervous about the whole thing. But if they're going to do it in time, and I was, are they, what's going on? But of course they're aware. They're more aware in the natural realm than I am. But I'm very aware in the spiritual realm. That's my job. My job is to be aware in the spiritual realm and to warn people. This is the potential. As a wise virgin, this could happen. So get you some extra oil. Get ready, get some extra oil. I don't need any extra oil. It's all going to work out just fine. No problem. Well, I'm a wise virgin. I feel like I know I'm a wise virgin, and I'm preparing, and I'm telling people to get prepared. And so, but the imminent fall of the dollar is definitely going to fall. We just know when exactly. That's for sure. I can't say that I know when, but it is the crash that we have been talking about. And so, if you're not ready for this, and prepared for it to a certain degree. Now, some of you don't have any money at all. You got nothing. China could buy you real quick. If you have a house and you didn't know it was them and you thought it was some American company trying to help you out, you would be being bought off and put in bondage to a dictatorial system with your house and whatever else you sell to them to eat food and pay your bills. You just got to know that they're lying to you, and you will not get that back. You will not get that back. Any money you invest or put in there to get them to help you buy groceries, if it's a Chinese system, will not get that money back. So,
Huh. Now, if you don't mind, if I go off script real quick with another question, Randy, would you mind?
well, we haven't. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't mind at all. I love off script stuff, but so we're
It's
on.
still staying. I'm still staying in pocket though.
Okay,
But
good.
it's just
I know you are. I know you are. Yeah, I know you're not getting off on it. But I'm just
right.
saying. Yeah, yes, of course. I love this stuff, man. Go ahead.
Okay, because I know you speak, of us regular American citizens, and regular American citizens. Let's just say, I'm going to guess that most people don't just have $1 million sitting in the bank account, but let's assume someone does have $1 million sitting in their bank account, and we know that this is coming. Would your suggestion be take most of that money and buy gold, or just let it sit and let it disappear because of the demise of the dollar, because that $1 million won't be $1 million anymore once the dollar goes down? So what would be your suggestion there if someone had $1 million or more dollars?
Okay, you follow. If you like, one of my friends here on PGN did. I don't want to mention his name unless he gives me permission. But I had a little meeting with him. I met with him. And we talked and visited, and I need to get out of the. My wife was dying at the time. So I need to get out and get a break. So I went out and we met and talked. And so as we talked during the day, I just bought the gold. I just bought the gold and silver for PGN and 90%. I don't think he knew 90%. I bought 90%, paid 90%. Our purchase 90% of our funds. And so he says to me, he says, Randy, uh, because you have this. I don't know if his exact word. I don't. Because you have the mantle for this, and you're a prophet, because you bought gold and silver. Now, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what he did. So that's my answer to your question. Is you don't have to go. I don't know if I would go 90%. I'm a little bit different creature here. My whole purpose is a little bit different than most people's. As far as I'm a prophet, and I'm a prophet for this particular thing. So 90% was a prophetic act for me. But I would recommend that you start buying. Go buy you if you got $1 million. I'd take. I don't know. I don't want to give any advice because I can't do that. I'm not a professional. But
Right.
I would start buying certain percentages of taking your money and buying gold and silver. You're never going to go wrong with buying gold and silver ever. Make sure you're buying from a good company. Make sure that you're doing the right thing. But yes, I would definitely start doing it, and I would find a way to get a Texas depository account and get in there, and you can buy gold and you can have it shipped there. You buy the gold from a company. You say, okay, ship it. Where do you want to ship it to? Your house? No, ship it to you know the Texas depository, and then they'll set it up. They'll count it. They'll look at it, and they'll tell you what you have, and they'll give you a debit card. Eventually, they're going to give you a debit card, and so then if the dollar falls, then whatever you didn't spend, I'm just going to say this: whatever you didn't spend of your $1 million on gold and silver will basically be worthless or close to it, very very close to it.
Okay, good answer. That's the answer that I expected. I just wanted you to verify that for me. So, in general, what should employees do to prepare for this? Anything else that you could add to that?
Yeah, first you need to talk to your employer. I heavily recommend that. I think I recommended that to Nicole about some of her stuff. I think last time on the show, I don't know if she was listening at that time or not, but I know she has. I know her employer. There's been some things going on with that, trying to work some things out. And so first, go talk to your employer now. Don't wait. Do it now about what their backup plan is. Start asking them what the backup plan is. Do it nicely. Be kind. And say, and what you'll have to do. That's why you need to understand. Find out what Trump did and what Texas did, and put that together for them. And most of them are gonna know about it. But if they don't, you can inform them, like I'm informing you, and you'll be able to tell them, what's your backup plan in case the dollar goes down, because it's at least 50-50 that they did it because they knew the dollar was getting close to crashing. Because they passed some major laws. Because you're talking about the wealth of America changing to a different currency from the dollar to gold. That's a big, big thing. So when you explain to them, if they don't know about that, try to get some information to them in English. If you need help with that, that's one reason I'm doing these shows. If you need help with that, let me know. I'll try to get you a statement that we can documented, documented evidence, documentation with it, so you can take it to them and say, hey, what's your backup plan in case? Because if the president of the United States is doing it and Texas is doing it, then shouldn't you be doing it? So most haven't even thought about it, honestly. Secondly, make sure that you have alternative ways to receive payments. Maybe open up a Texas Gold account. I just said that already, and be prepared to accept payments in whatever system emerges. There's going to be different. We'll talk about this later about the different systems that are going to emerge from all this. There's going to be a lot of different things kicking in now that Trump has done this in Texas, and that it's very serious. So there you go.
Okay. As it stands right now, in your opinion, are some jobs more safer than others at this moment?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, essential jobs. Like healthcare, food production, because everybody got to eat. Utilities, everybody got to have utilities. Thank God for my air conditioning. If your utilities are on, your air conditioning is working good, you're fine. Yeah, so if you have an essential job, they're the safest. These employees will find a way to pay you because society can't function without these services, right? So they're going to find a way. This is a really cool thing about it. If the employers have some way to help you, they will do it, and quickly. All right, so that's a good safe thing. So office jobs and luxury services might be a little bit longer in the disruption realm. There you go.
Okay. What about some small businesses versus like big corporations?
Right. That's a good question. Big corporations like Walmart or Amazon would adopt faster, right? Because they have a lot more to adopt, a reason to adopt faster. They have resources and international experience, so they kind of understand what's going on. Small business might struggle longer to figure out new payments or new payment systems. Smaller business might struggle, like any of us. We don't have the money, we don't have the resources if we're small, to figure out a new payment system. But they're also more flexible and might switch to a barter system or local currency faster. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So the big companies will adopt faster. The smaller companies will have a little more problem. That's why if you have a small company, you probably need to go to them now and ask them, are they aware of this, and what is their backup plan?
Okay. So bottom line, Randy, will people starve because they can't, because they can't get paid? I mean, during that time?
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of scary. It's and actually in the short term disruptions, uh, yes, but the economic initiatives are way too strong for it to last long. So there may be some temporary, you may be losing some weight even if you don't need to, but it's not going to last long. See, that's why we're talking about this. We're trying to infuse people with information. So employers need workers, workers need payment, right? So they're going to work it out as fast as they can. So new systems will emerge quickly. Including we're going to have to watch if the dollar, if our systems have not been set up, we're going to have to watch that who we're doing. If the dollar goes down, we're going to be really careful who we do business with, and that's going to be a whole other thing we need to talk about on a show sometime. How do we look for that? We're not going to talk about it tonight, but we'll talk about it soon. So the question isn't whether you'll get paid, but what currency you're going to get paid in. So if we have the Texas dollar thing going, then they'll just have to start buying gold. Your company will have to start buying gold and start doing trading in gold to pay you in gold. And so that's why this gold thing is going to really take off big time with the Texas Bullion Depository, really, really big. So anyway, there you go. If you are
Okay.
going to get paid, it's just what currency you're going to get paid in.
Okay. Any advice for workers right now?
Yeah, build relationships with multiple payment systems now. Learn about them. You know, don't put all your eggs in one basket, as your mama will probably tell you and your daddy. If your employee can pay you through Texas Gold, that would be awesome. Chinese digital currency or even cryptocurrency, you're better. You're going to be better positioned than someone who can only accept traditional paychecks. So if you get a traditional paycheck, you know it's a dollar. When a dollar crashes, it's going to be hard to get. But the Chinese digital currency is going to be one of those that's going to be out there. Now, if you just kind of do temporary business with them, you don't sell them your house, and you don't put your 401k or whatever you have your money into their system. You want to be really careful how you do stuff. You don't want to if it's a possibility that you're dealing with a Chinese digital currency and you don't know it, just be careful that you don't sell them your house until you know for sure who they are. Doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, with your money with them, it's not bad. But when you got to remember this, if you're dealing with a Chinese system, you're gonna whatever you sell your house to them for, you can just depend on it. You're not going to get that back. You will not get that back. And that's what the whole Antichrist system is really going to do. This is a good picture of what the Antichrist system is going to be like. Once you get in, you don't get out. I mean, you may get out, but your stuff will not get out with you. All right. So if you can, this is why we need to really pray that the Texas depository gold card system will work. It's the answer. We prophesied about this 4 or 5 years ago that we would have a debit card with our own system to make transactions with. I didn't know it was going to be Elon Musk. Now I know that it is. That we're going to have a debit card that would be, we go into grocery stores. I didn't even understand all this at that time, but God started showing it to me and started talking about it here on PGN for quite a long time, and so we really need to pray for what the prophetic word has talked about. What's the prophetic word talked about? All these other currencies? No, not that they're bad. What's the prophetic word talked about? The Texas gold card deposit, the Texas bullion depository with the gold card. That's it. I mean, as far as being easy, it's not that we can't have, because we're recommending to people to look for other ways to make transactions, right? But the biggest thing is going to be find a way to buy gold and silver and have it with the depository system, the Texas Bullion Depository, because they are set up and they're the only ones, just like China's the only one with their system. Texas is the only one who already has all the laws and rules and regulations passed. They've been working on it for it's very hard for at least 2 or 3 years now, and activating all of it. Now they're activating it. So if the prophetic word talked about that, then you probably want to focus mostly on what the prophetic word has been about, especially since you're seeing it all come to pass when it was not being talked. Any of this is being talked about 4 or 5 years ago, except by us, in specific details. Nobody. 2 years into it, I remember we were here on the show. 2 years into it, maybe Nicole can remember the name of that lady. She was a congressman lady. She was on Daystar Network. I can't think of her name right now, but she kind of halfway mentioned. It shocked me when I saw it. I went, "Oh my gosh, what?" And I talked about it on the show. Whatever her name was, she ran for president as a Republican, I believe. Really nice lady, very cool lady. I can't think of her name, but anyway, I saw her on Daystar Network being interviewed by Joni and had some other people in there, and she mentioned, they're trying to work on making gold usable. Like, she didn't say exactly what. I don't remember exactly what she said. We need to find those videos and get that exact information. But this has been something that when we started prophesying about this, and the reason I keep emphasizing, we prophesied about this 5 years ago. People think you're just trying to brag about it. Well, okay, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that the Lord Jesus has been telling us about this for a long time. So what do we trust in? More than anything, the word of the Lord. It doesn't mean we're getting words about every little digital currency and all that kind of thing. Yeah, go for whatever. Just make sure you know what you're doing. But the prophetic word, which has been proven to be the word of the Lord Jesus, whose word are we gonna trust? Jesus' word or our friends who know a lot? Michelle Bachman, thank you, Nicole. Yes. Michelle Bachman, she was on Daystar. If we can find that video, I think I've got it saved somewhere. But she kind of mentioned, I can't remember what she said, but whatever she said, it shocked me because it's the first time I ever heard anybody talk about it. And she's a congressman who knows what's going on. And she wasn't even sure if they were even going to do it. Yeah, but she mentioned that they were working on it. Nobody knew about this, y'all. I'm telling you. And so, as far as, the common people, and it wasn't put in the news. So it's very interesting. So the reason I keep saying that is not to brag about Randy Chandler getting something from Jesus. I'm talking about the fact that that if the Lord has been showing us, and way ahead of time, then we need to lean toward getting what the word of the Lord said, the Texas Bullion Depository with that debit card. That's going to be the main thing you want to get.
Okay. So
Thank you.
yeah, so as the paycheck continues, it's just going to be with different money. We're just not
Exactly.
sure what that is yet. Okay.
Right. Well, now yeah, you may not know what you're going to get. I know what I'm going to get, but I don't get paychecks and I don't get money. I get money coming in. Like we're going to talk some night about, those of us who have Social Security. I paid into that for years. And so what about that? We're going to talk about that soon. But so there's a lot to think about. So the paycheck continues, yes, just with different money. Your payroll continues. It might be a better way to say it. I should say it a little better. The payroll continues, but with just different money. Exactly. So work still needs to be done. Bills still need to be paid. Life goes on, right? The currency changes, but the economic relationship between employer and employee continues. Just be ready to adapt to whatever system wins. And that's why we need to pray. That's why we put this like this. Just be ready to adapt to whatever system wins. Yeah. So I know, the reason I keep talking about the 5-year prophetic word that God spoke to is because that's the one that's going to win. I cannot tell people any other thing is going to win because I don't know. It may, but this is going to be the winning. This is going to be the winning ticket. This is it. So yes, get a couple of other things going on. Of course, try to find out if you have questions. We are going to talk about this stuff and document it so you can go back and listen to it when we're talking. Finally, we got set up tonight where we can have turbo and on video at the same, having the audio working. Thank God. Thank you, Jesus, for that. We got that worked out tonight. Last night on the show, we couldn't. Angela, she's never talked on her computer. And I talk all the time through my computer. Right? I'm going like, I said, can you find your microphone? She says, I don't know where it's at. As far as she used it for other things. So we couldn't get that going on last night. So tonight we got it going on. We finally broke through. And Daryl Paul and I have done this together before without going public on it. But so anyway, so we are working on getting this done in a very professional way. And I've asked for help. I think it's cool to have an interview style, answering questions and sticking with the point. I kind of got off a little bit here and there tonight, but I pretty well try to stay on it because we want to give quick, sharp information that people can take home and go, wow, I think I'm starting to get a hold of this. Because it's going to take some time for you to get it. I mean, I know about this stuff. I know the A from the Z. I do, only because God showed me. I know the A of this particular thing. I know from beginning to end. I know where it's going to go. And that's why I'm telling you, and that's why I always brag about how God showed us, because God is the one who knows. And what did he focus on in the prophetic words? Telling us things that I had no clue about any of it. What did he say about it? The Texas Depository Bullion. I didn't know that's what it was going to be called. I didn't call it Texas Bullion Depository. I said, we're going to have our own gold system, gold and silver system, because we've been doing the blood of the doorpost for years. What was that about? Every time it's about the fact that Israel was getting a currency in gold and silver from the neighbors after the death angel passed over. That's what they did. They got their currency. Most people don't even know that's what that was. They were just getting money to have money, because in the wilderness their money did them no good. That was for their currency. So we have talked about this for years, and then finally we started working right into, God started giving me a revelation specifically. I think it's been more than 5 years ago when I started kind of going that direction, not knowing where it was going. And then about 5 years ago or 4, we started specifically giving one detail at a time. And I kept seeing things like satellites and our own satellites. Not satellites, but ways to get, you know, that kind of thing going on. I didn't understand there's going to be Elon Musk, who is in Texas now. So now all that's come together too. So we brag about the 5-year thing, God tells us, because I want you to not get distracted with everybody and their dog friend. Believe me, he's going to be coming after you. Oh no, don't do the Texas. No, that's do this. And they're going to be pulling you away from doing everything in the world. Well, if you want to do those other things on the side, I can't tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you the word of the Lord. The word of the Lord is the Texas Bullion Depository and the debit card, which we specifically prophesied about, and being able to use your debit card from gold and silver. I didn't even know what a big hassle that was for the government. I thought, why can't they just, say, hey, we're going to do this, hey, man, we're going to do it, and we do it. No, it's laws, major laws concerning our the way our currencies work. I do not have a clue about anything because I'm so ignorant on it, right? All I know is that's what God said, and I said it publicly time and time again. And so that's why I'm focusing on you guys, not just because you're going to go to the internet, and the internet's going to tell you everything the opposite of what I just told you. So what am I going by? By my information? I'm going by the word of the Lord that was given 4 or 5 years ago, at least 3 years in advance. So that should tell you that this is not just a man trying to do this, because I get nothing out of this. If you go do business with the Texas Bullion Depository, I don't even think they have a system that says, okay, we're going to give you, who told you about us? We're going to give them if you think they're going to do that, just don't tell them my name. Don't tell them anything. Just say, I can't remember what his name was. If you think I'm going to try to get some off of it, I'm not trying to get anything off of anything. We make nothing off of anything. We don't sell anything. I'm not trying to get you to do this so if you think that's true, just don't tell them. I don't want my name mentioned anyway. There's a lot that people don't understand, and I can't explain it all because they're going to think I'm, delusional. I've been accused of being delusional a few times until the words keep coming to pass, time after time after time, and then after a while, if they can humble themselves and say, "Yeah, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I called you delusional," which is very rare for people to apologize for that kind of stuff. But so that's it. I'm taking off. Daryl, pull me back in, man.
So Randy,
tell Nicole we need
very
some
important.
help.
It's very informative tonight. The thing that you mentioned a few weeks ago, I remember you were talking a few weeks ago, and you were talking about you wanted to get word to Trump about saying that he saved Israel. So that just it makes me want to tell you, I'll ask you tonight to be like, if you could get word to him about that, maybe you could get word to him about speeding this process up with the Texas gold and silver and how important it is.
Yeah, I already have. But
Okay.
I think one of the things that I found out because I'm really into this stuff, y'all. I mean, I'm single. I don't have a wife to help me or boss me around. I'm just kidding. I like being boss. I love it when my wife boss me around because if I can sit down and let her do everything, I just kind of act. Oh yeah, honey, yeah, good, yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I better shut up real quick. But yeah, so I have a lot of time. God has given me. I feel like Paul the Apostle to a very, very small degree that I've been kind of locked up in a prison cell to a certain degree. I mean, I go out and run around, but and to focus on writing this stuff. I mean, I'm working on this stuff all the time, and this is only one subject. When I'm able to tell y'all everything, most people can't even handle this. We're giving the word about Iran and the regime change. Before anybody was talking about specifically saying it's happening, at least a year ahead of anybody talking about it even happening. And so people have a hard enough time with that. That's just kind of, I can't believe he's saying that. I can't believe he just said that. That ain't going to happen. They got a hold of that country. Ain't no way they're going to get out of it. And so what happens? It starts happening. And so I'm just as surprised, almost as surprised as other people are to watch the word of the Lord come to pass. So I guess my point is that, people need to try to learn, like I've had to learn, to trust the word of the Lord, and at least give it a chance, and at least pray about it. Instead of just like going, if I told y'all everything that I know, I know things. I've told you all this many times. Most people just think I'm blowing smoke. I am not blowing smoke. I know things that God has shown me that I don't know when He's going to let me release it. I don't know why He doesn't let me release it, just like the Antichrist name. Nicole, you're Nicole, who's right there with you. I know she's there. I can hear her breathing in the background. Uh, she's trying to keep you straight. I can tell. But I know Nicole had mentioned many times about, when are you going to give us the name of the Antichrist? When are you going to give us the name of the Antichrist? Because it's an exciting thing, man, especially when you study the Bible. That's an important thing. And so I said, I'm sorry, I don't know. I wish I could. I want to do it now. I don't know why God won't let me until the time happened when He let me do it, when He let me release it on September the 12th, 2022, on a Monday. I gave the name of the Antichrist. I gave the name of the Antichrist on that day. 3 days later, the red heifer shows up in Israel. I had no clue there was a red heifer. I didn't know about anything about the red heifer. I wasn't into the red heifer thing. I didn't even know there was a red heifer thing going on or needed to go on. I wasn't aware of any of that. And my wife, who watched YouTube and different things, she said, "Oh, the red heifer thing." I thought, what red heifer thing? She said, "You need to look into this. This is really interesting." I go, okay. So, pretty soon we're into this. So my point is that, God is showing us these things before they happen. We are very connected. I am very connected to things that I cannot tell you right now. Like I couldn't tell the name of the Antichrist until that one day. And the reason that God had me wait till that one day was because He knew that the red heifer was going to show up in Israel, not just kind of show up in the news. We think we have a red heifer. No, it showed up 3 days later in Israel. Nobody knew that. I did not have a clue. And when I found out, it was right down the street from me, about 12 miles or so down the street from me in Rockwall, Texas. And then I looked them up on the internet. I looked them up on the internet because I found out the name of the ranch by the YouTube that my wife sent me. She said, "Listen to this. It's somewhere in Rockwall." I went, "Really?" So I'm jumping right on that one, right? And so I got a hold of the number, and I called him up, and the guy who runs the ranch there for the red heifer guy, he says, "Hello." I said, I didn't want to tell him my name, I don't like to give my name out too much on some things. And so, can I ask you a question? Are you the red heifer guys? And they went, "Yeah, we're the red heifer guys. They got the red heifer in Israel." I said, "Yeah." So I said, I saw the name of the guy on there. His name was Davenport. I said, "Does he happen to be kin to Brian Davenport?" And he lit up. He went, "Oh yeah, that's his brother." I went, "Brian Davenport is his brother? You got to be kidding me." So, as Jeff and Yuki will tell you, when they came to Texas, I don't know, a couple of weeks after that, I can remember exactly when it was. I said, "Hey, y'all want to go out there to the red heifer thing and look around?" I said, "Yeah." We went out there, and so I had the guy's number in my phone. I finally looked it up, and I said, because we were out there looking around, we couldn't find anything. And so anyway, I could go on and on all this stuff. How God connects me to things, and that's just one thing. There are things just like not being able to give the name of the Antichrist that I can't talk about until God says do it. I don't even tell people that I know stuff that I know, because they're going to think I'm wacko until it all starts happening. That's the realm that I live in. So you have to be careful what you say to people, because you can cause yourself extra trouble. Not that I'm afraid of people and what they think, but you cause yourself extra trouble unless God is making sure you tell the name of the Antichrist now. "Yes, sir." And then 3 days later, it's amazing. And this has happened time after 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 time over the many years. So, y'all, when I can share everything, when I can unload the next level, the last level that we unloaded, one of the last levels that we unloaded that had been a secret since 2007, 2008, was that God would not let me talk about, was the regime change and the bombing of the nuclear sites, specifically saying it was going to be like an earthquake, right? I give those words specifically, and that's exactly what happened. It wasn't an earthquake, but Israel approved and asked Trump to come in and get that bunker buster bomb down in there, and that's what it was. It was like an earthquake went down in there and blew a lot of rock out. So this stuff I've known for years, and then one day out of the blue, the Lord says, "Okay, tell them that," and then tell them about the Azerbaijan taking down Iran, or it being taken down through Azerbaijan. And I went, "Okay, man." Literally, that's the way it works. And so so I don't know why people have a hard time believing. I do know why people have a hard time believing because I have. Even when I get it, I'm going like, I believe, I totally believe it, or I wouldn't talk about it publicly. Because when you talk about things publicly, it's going to happen, and it's just people just like will condemn you to hell and back until it happens, and then most of them will never even apologize to you when it does. So you live with that. It's just part of the thing. It's part of the thing that you live with. You just kind of get used to it and move on and realize that this is the lot that God chose me to be a part of. So He gives me the strength to overcome it. So Daryl, you're not pulling me back in again. You're not pulling. Hey, Randy, come back.
Sometimes I like letting you go on because you might just give us some more information you're not expecting to give us. But we have tonight, we had 13 plus questions that we asked tonight. I still have another 13 maybe for next week or whenever you want to do that, if you want to
Okay.
do that. But tonight was real informative. So I appreciate the Q&A.
Yeah, me too. I really appreciate it. Do we know what next week's going to be like on that? The questions on that? Do we know? Have we?
Well, yeah, no, you sent them to me, Randy.
I know, but okay. So yeah, so
It's
I did.
still along. Yeah, go
What's
ahead.
it? Along the lines of what? The second one next week. If we do the one next week, if we wait till next week to do it, what's that one going to be about? Remind
All
me.
right, hold on. Let me just give a quick look. It's still about the doc.
Any particular question? I mean, kind of a different subject. Hello, I lost you. Okay, maybe I turned you off accidentally. Oh, you disappeared completely. You went bye bye on me. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you went completely off on me that time.
Can you hear? So this is what it is. You had sent me that on the text. When I toggle back and forth, the restream audio, it just goes off. So I'm trying to read you what that was. I didn't
Oh,
have a chance to write that down. So
oh, that's okay. That's
I'll
okay.
try to see if I can get some of the questions before it cut me off. That's all.
Oh, that's okay. No problem. I
So
thought
when I
maybe I
had you
might.
send, so when you sent Nicole the other stuff, I wanted you to send her the second half of that. I already had the first half written down.
Oh, it's the second half that you wanted. The second
Right,
set of questions.
right.
Okay. All right. Well, as you know, I didn't do that, so I messed that up a little bit. But uh, okay, I'm trying to see here. Can I use money for? Okay, this one. The next one was about uh, if the dollar becomes worth tomorrow. What are my options? Okay, if the dollar becomes worthless tomorrow, what are my options? What can I actually use to buy groceries and pay bills? That's. I think that's the second one. Yeah,
Right.
I
That's the
think I
second
just
half.
found it. I just found it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what? In other words, what if everything goes down? What can I actually use to buy groceries and pay bills? We're going to talk about that. I think that's what we're going to talk about. We'll say we're going to talk about it. We probably will, but we're going to talk about something for sure. So we want to keep everybody informed on all this. We're calling this the whole theme of this thing. I kind of themed this. Thank you, Jesus, as the wise virgins. We're trying to be wise virgins and help people get oil in their lamp, so that when if things happen, they won't freak out too much, maybe a little bit, but understand that hey, I kind of already know what to do. I'm going to go back and listen to those archives and remind myself about this. So that's why we're doing this. All right, really really cool and a lot of fun. All
Okay,
right, girl.
Randy.
Well, what else?
Great talk. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, so that's it. Okay.
All
All right,
right.
I'm
Thanks.
gonna turn you off here on the video. So that's it there. All right, y'all. This has been really great tonight. Again, we have tried to inform everybody, so you might want to go back and listen to some of that stuff. If anybody has any questions, if you'd like to raise your hand on Turbo, you can do that, or you can also send me questions. Uh, okay, so Nikki says, so we need to get a gold card from Texas. Okay, Nikki, good question. So my answer to that is that yes, you need to go open up. What you need to do is they don't have the gold card actually functioning yet. That's what they just approved of lately. They finally got it approved to be able to do it. So, but they don't actually have a gold card for you yet. But what you need to do as soon as possible is get you I think it costs like $50 to get a Texas Bullion Depository account. right? That way you get yourself an account, and then you already have that done, and you'll look the system over a little bit maybe and kind of get used to it. And then when they make the debit card, and then I just start believing God to buy a little gold here and there, or maybe a little silver. And some people may not be able to do that, but if you can, start buying a little bit. So what am I doing? I'm trying to be a wise virgin, that we don't want any foolish virgins who have the ability to buy a little bit of gold here and there, a little bit of silver, even silver also. I bought a lot of silver, and then I bought gold also for PGN. But PGN will have that for you, but that's not something you can just access anytime you want. That's something that we're gonna have the Joseph. We're gonna talk about that some night too. We're gonna talk about how that we're gonna work all that. And I don't know the exact details on everything because I'm still working on the law part of that with Texas Bullion, the laws on all that, and with the IRS and all that. I'm still working on that. So but here's the thing: is you need to get an account opened up and then kind of start, knowing that you got it there. That way, if you could buy, $50 worth of silver or $100 worth of silver, maybe you get a big check coming in or something, and you get $1,000. You want to go spend, $50 to $100 buying you some silver and have it put in there. I would do that, and get it started, kind of get it working. And so the way the system's going to work with PGN overall, everybody say overall is that we kind of like Joseph. It's a Joseph scenario where Joseph put put the grain in storage, and then as people needed it, as it was needed, because this isn't about buying yourself, a bunch of cars and houses and a bunch of fancy stuff. This is about survival and surviving well, I might add, during the Great Tribulation. So I know some of you don't think you're going to be here. So if you're not going to be here, okay, maybe you'll be gone, maybe you'll get raptured out, maybe you'll be the only one raptured out. Okay, well, what is take yours and spread it out to the other ones, or something like that. But what it is really about, in all seriousness, what it is really about is the fact that that this is for survival. I've asked God, how are we going to do this? And so it's kind of a big question. So the answer is kind of like, I don't really know everybody. I don't know how everybody handles their finances. And so if I just said, okay, God said, if I said that we're going to send you all your, gold coins and some silver coins, and send you your portion of it, and then if you didn't use that wisely, and all of a sudden you're without again, and you're in the same shoes that you were in before because you have an issue with your financials, which most people, some people don't, but a lot of people do, then yes, get an account for $50. I think it's $50, and then start buying some gold and silver little by little. Yeah, buy it as you can. Make it a priority because you're thinking about the future. But when all hell breaks loose, PGN will be here because you've been faithful and loyal to PGN as God has called you to be faithful and loyal to PGN. You will be taken care of, with what portion of your money, what portion of the wealth you will have from the gold and silver, because of your God-given, what's the word? Faithfulness to God through PGN with your finances. You may be faithful to God and everything else but your finances, but if you were not faithful in your finances, then with PGN, maybe God had you given to your church or given to some other ministry or whatever. We don't care. We hope you give wherever God tells you to give. But if you don't have money actually coming in through the checking account, if that money does not come in through the checking account, it can't be given to somebody on PGN, to some of our friends on PGN. That doesn't count. The reason because it has to be legal. You have to give your offerings and your through PGN, like through Cash App. That's connected to PGN. That's the official 501c3. PayPal. What are the other ones here? Cash App, PayPal, and Wells Fargo, and all those. Those are all official. If that money does not go through, if you don't have it registered and have that money in the account and have record of it, then it doesn't matter how faithful you've been to PGN and other things. If you've not been faithful If God has not called you to be faithful with your money in PGN, then you want to have that will not be yours. Okay, it's only to those who God has called. Like I said, whatever God calls you, if He tells you to be faithful PGN with everything but your money, then do that. You know, it doesn't. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Be faithful wherever God tells you. If He says give it to your church or give it to somebody else, where just do that. Do what God tells you to do. But in all truth, if it is not recorded in our books, and I keep the books now, and if it's not recorded in the books, then you will not be part of that. You know, we've talked about that many, many times. Okay, so, okay, question. Carmen says, is it worth keeping your insurance and annuities, retirement policies? I have been talking to friends that have them and they don't know what to do, or should they just liquidate them for cash and use them for gold? Um, yeah, that's a good question for an expert. But I can give you some non-expert opinions. I can give you some non-expert opinions if you want me to do that. All right. So let me take just a little bit of a break. I'm going to be right back. So hang on. I will be right back with you. I'm going to take me a little break here. We're going to play a little music, and so I'll be right back. And then we'll discuss whatever questions that you guys have. Let's do a little music here tonight, and give me just a moment here. Okay, let's do the ka-ching ka-ching song, and let's do that, and we'll be right back.
I am a victim of my DNA, passed down on me to stay. Looks like gonna have to pay. See the doctor, he asked me the same. Who in the blood we gonna blame? Who in your bloodline died of the same? As I walked out the door, I felt the shame. Mother, she had the same. I called on God, he told me the same. Without the payment, it all remains the same. Jesus said I'll take the blame, so no one else bears the shame. Come to me to pay. I give it all to all for free. Ka-ching, ka-ching, let freedom ring. Chains are broken, hearts are free. Ka-ching, ka-ching, new life begins. Paid in full for you and me. His blood flows pure and true, making everything brand new. Breaking chains of destiny, setting generations free. Chains are broken, hearts are free. God, ka-ching, 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 new life begins. Paid in full for you and me. victim of my DNA, passed down on me to stay. Looks like gonna have to pay. See the doctor, he asked me the same. Who in the blood we gonna blame? Who in your bloodline died of the same? As I walked out the door, I felt the shame. Mother, she had the same. I called on God, he told me the same. Without the payment, it all remains the same. Jesus said, I'll take the blame, so no one else bears the shame. Come to me to pay. I give it all to all for free. Ka-ching, ka-ching, let freedom ring. Chains are broken, hearts are free. Ka-ching, ka-ching, new life begins. Paid in full for you and me. His blood flows pure and true, making everything brand new. Breaking chains of destiny, setting generations free.
Sorry about that. I am back, and good to be here tonight. All right. Wow. Okay, we have a lot of questions coming in here. I'm going to try to answer them the best I can. People are asking me about different things, so all right. Okay, can y'all hear me now? Are we back again? I think we're back again. All right. All right, so she said, does it draw interest? I don't know if it draws interest or not. I never thought about that. That's a good question. I'll have to find out about that one. I haven't been asking. So remind me of that one, Nikki. Very good question. Somebody is asking me, I think Carmen asking me about, you know, policy by, she asking me, let's see, what did you ask me? Where's it at? Let's go through the actual question. Question, is it worth keeping your insurances and annuities, retirement policies? I have been talking to friends that have them and they don't know what to do, or should they just liquidate them for cash and use them for gold? Well, you know, policy by policy, kind of an analysis on that is life insurance, you know, term life, probably liquidate. You've been paying premiums for dollar payouts, and this is not legal. This is not financial advice. I'm just giving you a recommendation. Okay, I'm not going to give you financial advice. Okay, I got to make that really clear. All right, so you're going to be, you know, life insurance. Yeah, you know, probably liquidate that one. Whole life with cash value. Consider cashing out now, while dollars will still have some value. So the thing is here, it's about why things still have value. That's really the thing, right? That's what we're looking at. So you just you're going to be led by the Lord and do whatever your financial advisor tells you. I'm just telling you, because when you understand the beginning from the end, the A from the Z, and you understand that anything that's connected to the dollar, and it's eventually, you know, going to lose its value, maybe sooner than later, then you want to be prepared for that very wisely, like I did. I didn't get whole 100% of my account. I only got 90%, which is probably an unusual situation, that I used 90% of the ministry money. The banker that called me, the sweet lady from the bank, called me and said, she said, Randy, you know, it's a little bit like out of the ballpark. Or, you know, what are you doing? You know, we want to save you from losing all your money. I said, you know, I just kind of tried to be nice, as nice as I could, and not be arrogant. You know, like I just tried to, like, man, I told her I really appreciated her help. I felt like she really was trying to help me. But I said, I've got to do, you know, I didn't really tell her the words I heard from God. I wasn't going to say that unless the Lord wanted me to do that. Then so I just said, yeah, I did it anyway. And so they approved of it, of course. So, Annuities, fixed annuities, high risk, promises fixed dollar payments that could become worthless. All right, that's fixed annuities. Variable annuities, slightly better if invested in real assets, which is the difference, right? But still dollar based. So it's still dollar based. So once you understand the dollar based thing, you understand it. Retirement accounts like 401k, IRAs, traditional dollar denominated at risk, precious metals IRAs, much safer, already backed by gold and silver, and consider early withdrawal penalties versus total loss risk. In other words, of losing everything. That's what you got to think about. And so that's in retirement accounts. And so the key question to ask for each policy is, can I convert this to precious metals? That's what you want to be asking, right? And so within the same account, don't forget that, within the same account. So what are the liquidation penalties versus potential total loss? That's what you really got to dwell on that. How much time do I have before the dollar collapses? Well, I don't know. But start being wise. Be a wise version. Start getting ready for that to happen, even if it happens just faster than just a one-day thing. I don't know if this is going to be just a one-day thing. I don't really know what it's going to be, how it's going to happen exactly, but it's going to hit. And when it hits, it's going to be really, we're going to have to be prepared. And that's what Trump and Texas are doing. So what percentage of my wealth is tied up in dollar-based contracts? What percentage of my wealth is tied up in dollar-based contracts? That's what you got to think about all of that, compare that with everything. Like I kept 10% of the dollars. And that was in October the 4th, 2023. I kept 10% because I'm thinking, I would have done the whole thing if I thought I had enough cash to do it. I didn't have any cash. So I had to keep the cash in the ministry account, pay bills and, get on and talk to y'all. So basically that's kind of it with that. But a strategic approach would be don't go all or nothing. Do not go all or nothing. My case is a little bit different. I heard from God. Right now we're just giving, you're just going to be getting advice, right? We're kind of giving advice. I'm not a counselor. I don't give financial advice. I'm just kind of telling you some information, okay? So don't go all or nothing for sure. Keep some policies that might survive. Precious metal IRAs, right? Liquidate the most vulnerable. The fixed dollar annuities. The fixed dollar annuities you want to consider liquidating them. The fixed dollar annuities, right? Okay. Diversify across physical gold, Texas gold system, and essential supplies. So we've talked about a little bit. You've talked about that before, Carmen, about having essential supplies like food and that kind of thing. Timing considerations, early withdrawal penalties might be worth paying to avoid total loss. See, that's what you got to be looking at: is total loss or paying some withdrawal penalties. It might be worth it. And the tax implications of liquidation versus worthless assets. Come on. So market conditions, sell while dollars still have value. Sell while dollars still have value. This is all in the crashing of the dollar. See, this is going to be a transfer of wealth for sure, a loss of wealth when this happens, if it happens fast. And that's what they're working on. They're working on making it happen fast. Okay, so what do you tell your friends? Immediate actions to calculate total exposure. Calculate your total exposure to what you got going on. How much wealth is in dollar-denominated contracts, right? Research conversion options. Can any accounts be moved to precious metals, right? Consider partial liquidation. Maybe cash out 50 to 70%. I did 90. Now, this is what I'm recommending. Ask your doctor, your financial doctor. All right, let's say keep some of it hedged. All right, consult financial advisors who understand currency collapse scenarios. You just don't talk to anybody about this stuff because they're going to go, well, you're just crazy. They've been talking about this for 100 years. That ain't never happened yet. Well, one of the things, sir, is my president and Texas working together, and then you send them the documentation on this and say it's questionable. It is questionable. It's more questionable now than ever because my own country, the leader of my country, is doing it. Well, we don't know Trump. It doesn't really matter what they think. They're there to serve you, and if they don't go with it, find somebody else. Right? Okay. Priority for liquidation: fixed dollar annuities, the highest risk ones. All right. Long-term life insurance with dollar payouts. Yeah, of liquidation. Traditional retirement accounts, consider precious metal rollovers before you do that. Right? See if you can get a precious metal rollover. I think Nicole's talked about doing that before. Precious metals, IRAs, and real assets backed policies. Keep precious metal IRAs. Keep them. All right? And real asset backed policies. Okay, bottom line, the brutal truth is most financial products are designed for stable dollar environments. All right? In a collapse scenario, having worthless insurance is worse than having no insurance. All right, better to take liquidation penalties now, right? Better to do that. And you know, yeah, it's better to take liquidation penalties now than it is to convert and convert it to a gold or real assets than to lose everything when the dollar fails. Right? Don't panic. Don't panic, sell everything at once. Don't do that. That's what you don't want to do. That's why we're telling you early. Hopefully, really early. But you need to think about it. You need to pray. You need to go back and listen to the show and get this. I'm reading this specific information off so it will be clear. All right. So better to take liquidation penalties now and convert to gold and real assets than it is to lose everything when the dollar fails. But don't panic and sell everything, at once. Do not do that. That's what we want to stop you. That's going to be a foolish version, right? A foolish version, Mr. Timing. Create a strategic exit plan that balances penalties against collapse risk. Right, your friends should act soon. The longer they wait, the less their dollar-based assets will be worth the conversion to alternatives. Okay, so I'm trying to get specific information, detailed information that is, good for you to understand. So do you think I can exchange some of my crypto? That's another good question. I don't know. Let's see. Hang on a second. I'll be right back. All right. Okay. So, do you think I can exchange some of my crypto? Okay, we can try to talk about that a little bit here. Okay. Major crypto exchanges, depending on what you have. I don't know what you have. Coinbase, user-friendly, good for beginners. Binance, BINANCE, more advanced trading options. Kraken, KRAKEN, strong security reputation. Gemini is another one, regulated and compliant. What can you exchange crypto for? US dollars, while they still have value. Yeah, you might want to exchange your crypto for US dollars while the dollar still has value. Other cryptos, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. Yeah, stable coins, though many are dollar backed. The stable coins are dollar backed right now. I've talked about that earlier. Okay, so you have Coinbase. Okay. Uh, all right, so that's what you have. So I named one. I got it right. I named the main ones really. Um, so uh, yeah, let's talk about Coinbase just for a second. Um, okay, the steps to sell crypto for dollars. Open a Coinbase app or website. Click on trade, then sell. Select which crypto you want to sell. Choose USD as what you're selling to. In other words, you're gonna get dollars out of your crypto. Dollars are go to your Coinbase USD wallet, right? And then to convert to other crypto, go to trade, then convert. Select your current crypto. Choose what you want to convert to, Bitcoin or whatever. Enter amount and confirm. Right. Okay. Given our dollar collapse discussion, we want to talk about that a little bit. Strategic options on Coinbase is convert to Pax Gold, which is one of the things I've talked about. That's also connected to the dollar, believe it or not. When you try to purchase something with Pax Gold, it actually goes through the dollar. So with the dollar down, there's going to be a problem with that. That moves you to gold-backed crypto, but Pack Gold is not. I didn't recommend Pack Gold last night. I think I talked about that last night. It's not the best. Okay, sell for dollars, then quickly put physical gold elsewhere. Right? Sell for dollars, and then quickly buy physical gold elsewhere. In other words, go somewhere else and buy gold. You want to start buying gold? Go to the. I'm recommending Texas Bullion Depository because that's the word of the Lord. Not because I'm recommending it as a counselor but as a prophet, the word of the Lord. Right? That's why I keep going back to that. Because people think I'm just bragging. You're just bragging that you got, no, maybe a little bit, but mainly it's because we got to remember what the word of the Lord is. Then we know how to go forward with the future. That's why I talk about that so much. And people don't understand that, all right? The limitations that you have with Coinbase is no direct precious metals purchase can be made. You need to sell for dollars first and then operate in the dollar system, which is vulnerable if broader financial systems fail. What specific crypto are you looking to exchange, and what are you thinking of converting it to? This would help me give more targeted guidance based on your goals and the economic scenarios we've been discussing here. So the thing that I'm recommending you to do is to take your Coinbase, turn it into cash, and take your cash and buy gold. Right? Buy gold. And do it with Texas Depository System. All right, so that's my recommendation with that. All right, I hope I'm answering some questions tonight. You can get the money and put it into Texas Gold. Yes, buy gold and silver. You might have to buy. I bought a lot of silver and I bought gold too, but I bought more silver than I did gold. At least at this point, that's what we have at PGN. It's not my money. It's not my gold and silver. It's an investment we made for PGN people, not for me. All right, so. When trouble hits, when the just like with Joseph, when the 7 years of drought hit, that's when it wasn't just right away then either. When the drought hit with Joseph, if you go look at the scripture, and we're going to talk about all this stuff. So you're welcome. Thank you. She says, awesome. Thank you. You're so welcome. Yeah. So you can depend on those answers. I mean, those are good answers. So you can go. Get going there, but what was I saying just now? Anyway, I don't know what I was saying here. I get distracted. I get so many things going in the studio at one time. But that should kind of give you an idea, and you can go back, Carmen, and listen to the video if you want. to the archive, that is. Um, so to get your specific information, I gave you a lot of details with your question. So you asked me that question, I think, last night, especially about the IRA, and I told you I didn't know. So I did a little research. And I'm trying to stay up with you guys and try to get your help. Some of the answers I already have, and I just have to go to my notes and find them to make sure that I say it correctly, because I want to make sure I say it correctly. I don't want to give some memorization thing, and so it may take me a minute to look through my whole system and find the basic answer to your question, or maybe the specific answer to your question about all that. So what are we doing? We're preparing people. We want you to be wise virgins and not foolish, and have to go when everything starts coming down. Oh, I got to go buy me some oil. Yeah, we don't want you to do that. I do not want you to do. I want you to buy your oil now. Buy your oil now. Do it little by little. You don't have to do it all overnight. Just take it little by little, right? The only reason I did that at PGN, number one, it was a prophetic act. Number two, God told me to get it done before October 13th, and told me to buy, that much. So that's what I did. I kept 10%. I only measured out 10% because I knew that 10% would keep us going, paying bills and stuff, and keep us from, be able to come on and pay for our outlets there, our platforms that we use to get on with you guys. So we stay connected. All right. So that's what that 10% was about, and pay for the studio that we're in right now, and internet and all that stuff. Right. Okay. So I pay for my own food. Yep. I drive a truck that is purchased for the ministry, and so hopefully we've helped you tonight a little bit. I tried to give some very specific information. Oh, yeah. Carmen just said the music stopped playing. This one is real big. Okay, we just had an earthquake warning, a tsunami warning. Are y'all familiar with the earthquake in Russia? 8.8 earthquake in Russia. Are y'all familiar with that? That just happened. Carmen just sent this to me. Russia just had an 8.7 earthquake, a bad one, just now. I mean, in the last hour or so, they just had a 8.8 or 8.7 earthquake. Yeah, okay. Powerful earthquake strikes Far East, causes tsunami. Japan and Hawaii have an order of a tsunami heading their way. Okay, 8.8 earthquake. Thank you, Carmen, for this information. I did not know it was going on. So we're going to read this to you. Powerful 8.8 earthquake causes tsunami in Russia, Far East, with warnings issued for Japan and Hawaii and Alaska. Several people in Russia are said to have sought medical assistance following the earthquake, while Hawaiians have been told to expect destructive tsunami waves. All right, so a powerful 8.8 earthquake Far East Kamchatka Peninsula, causing a tsunami. A tsunami of up to 4 meters, 13 feet, was recorded in Kamchatka Peninsula, leading to the evacuations, damaging buildings, officials said. All right, tsunami warnings have been issued for Japan, Philippines, Hawaii, and parts of Alaska in the U.S. The Honolulu Department of Emergency Management in Hawaii has called for the evacuation of some coastal areas. Writing on X, the take action, destructive tsunami waves expected. First waves in Hawaii are expected at 7 p.m. local time, 6 a.m. UK time. Kamchatka Governor Vladimir Zoldov had earlier said today's earthquake was serious and the strongest in decades of tremors. Wow. Thank you, Carmen, for that information. That is awesome. All right. Wow. Hey, you know what's really wild about this? Just as we're talking about the dollar crashing, the earth starts crashing. I don't know what you want to call that, but that's kind of timely that right in the middle of talking about this, whole stuff, all the stuff that we've been talking about. We have a powerful, one of the most powerful earthquakes in a long time, an 8.7 or 8.8 just hit Russia, the far east part of Russia. So they're having Hawaii and U.S., even Alaska has been warned. So very, very interesting. And, wow, this is really, really, really interesting. Yeah, so there you go. All right. I don't know who the microphone is on this, but hello, 1, 2. Okay, so I don't have to have that on anymore. I don't have to listen to anybody talk through that. So, all right. Anybody get that information about Alaska? Really amazing, y'all. Really, really amazing. So PGN has made a little bit of a turn in its purpose. We are now sending out specific warnings and giving specific answers to specific questions the best we can, and giving it to you as clear cut as I can without a bunch of additives. Just trying to get it to you directly and specifically. Okay, so there you go. All right, if anybody has any questions for me, thank you, Carmen, for that update on the earthquake in Alaska. That was really mind-boggling. Wow, 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 wow. And remind me about that question, does it draw interest? I don't know if the Texas Depository draws interest or not. I don't have a clue. I've never looked into that one. That's a really great question. Okay, so remember, do not panic. We are just talking about a future problem. We're telling you that we're traveling, we're on our way to meet the King, and we could have some delays. So make sure you are ready for the delays. That's what I'm trying to prepare you for, are delays. Make sure and have plenty of oil. And I'm not talking about you need to have food for 10 years or 5 years or a year. I'm not even talking about, I'm talking about like just for a few weeks. My warning for food is, and that kind of thing, and essentials is try to get you some gold and silver. Get something that you can trade, whatever, and just in case it goes. If Texas has its system going, and the U.S. and they have put everything together properly, right now it's September 2026, so that's too far for me, and I've already sent out warnings to Trump about all this, and in my way, I do it my way, right? So and I don't, so there you go. Okay, very, very cool. All right, so you answered my question of what crypto. We got that. You told me what it was, and we got that taken care of. And so be cool. Don't do. I'm not saying I don't want to tell anybody don't do what I did but 90% that wasn't really a real wise thing to do. It was just the word of the Lord. So there's a big difference between wisdom that makes sense and is usually correct than it is the word. As a prophet, I'm not just a person who's born again and loves Jesus and hears from God in that way. I'm called as a prophet. I get specific information. I do prophetic acts because I have the authority as a prophet to do a prophetic act. And so that was not only a prophetic act, it was also something being done from God for his people as an investment. It's investing for you, and it belongs to the people. It does not belong to me or to the ministry as far as paying bills. It belongs to you. It's for you. I don't even know the process of how it's all the details. I'm trying to work on all that. It's a big operation, and God is showing me how to do things. So that's kind of what's going on, and I have to do what God tells me. I cannot be doing what everybody and their dog makes a great suggestion, right? My wife used to make some excellent suggestions. I mean, smart kid, smart woman. you know, a real thinker. But on prophetic things, as a prophet, she never got anything, and ever, and bless her heart, really frustrated. But she got everything else right, right? She sure did. And so, yeah, you know what I mean by everything else. Like, yeah, really sharp woman. But as a prophet, there's a big difference between woman's inclination and intuitiveness, and the prophet realm. They're not even the same thing. They're both awesome, but the prophetic realm is more awesome because it's directly from the Holy Spirit. The women's intuition is a very powerful thing God's given women to have. Uh, yeah, so, but it's not, it has nothing to do with the gifts of the Spirit. A heathen woman can have greater intuitions than a Christian woman, right? Could have, right? So it has nothing to do with the Spirit of God as far as directly, but a very beautiful thing. And I did listen to her, you know, a lot. And the times that I didn't, on those kind of things, sometimes I was right, sometimes I was wrong. So, yeah, you learn how to live with a woman who has great intuition. It's really an amazing thing. Uh, yeah, so anyway, there you go. All right, if nobody has any more questions, you know, don't go. I'm just telling you, you can listen to anybody you want to. We're going to try to make you strong. I'm going to try to give you so much information that when somebody else comes along and contradicts you, you're going to go, no, I know that's not true because of this. So if you really don't know, it's going to be hard to resist a lot of really powerful sounding, wonderful people that know a lot. Okay, I don't claim to know a lot. I know what the Lord tells me, and then I do everything around that, or I try to do everything around that. All right, I don't know everything. I only know what He shows me, and that's all I know. And then I focus on it with all my heart and my mind and my soul. And because I focus on it, He gives me a lot of information about a lot of things. You know, when you know A to Z, you know the beginning of ending of a thing, like this thing with the currency and all that kind of thing, and with the U.S. and Texas, you show me the beginning of it and the ending of it, and therefore anything in between doesn't fit. I know that it doesn't fit. It's like a piece of puzzle. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. You know, hey, Brother Chandler, you know, I think you should try to do this. And we're like, that's a really great idea. And you meant to do it somewhere else with something else, but it doesn't fit into what God's having me do. Not that I don't like it, not that I don't think it's great, but it just doesn't fit in. Because when you're a prophet, you get prophet information. And people try to put in non-profit information into a prophet information, and it just doesn't work. Now, it'll fit in other places with other things and other people. It'll be awesome, but not with that. And that makes people, it stirs people a little bit because they don't understand that. They think, well, I got a really good idea. Exactly, and they are good ideas. There are a specific God idea for this specific thing. And if I look at it and it doesn't fit in, then I'll be telling you it won't fit in as much as I might want it to. Okay, so it's not about being bossy and knowing everything. I don't know anything unless He shows me. Well, when He shows me, I know. And that's it. All right, this has been a great night. Hallelujah. Been really awesome. We got out a lot of information and hopefully helped some people. We gave a lot of information about insurance and, all that. So Carmen asked that question, and she asked me last night about IRAs, and so I did some research on that. And I did my best to answer that. Double check everything, make sure, but that's pretty sure information. So, because when you know the answer is everything is based with a dollar, if you're spending all your money thinking you're going to get a bunch of dollars back for your investment, and then the dollars are worthless, then if it can't be turned into gold or some other asset, then get rid of it. As soon as you can, before the dollar, loses more of its worth and value, and plus, when it just starts shut down, like say it shut down in a 3-month period, before anybody could, boom, 3 months it'd be like nothing, and then we got a whole new system going on. That's what I'm trying to warn about, because this is my mantle. This is what I'm called to do. I'm not called to do things other people called to do. Okay, I'm not trying to say I do. I'm not in their lane. I'm in my lane. But don't try to get in my lane, and because legally you'll be breaking the law and you'll be kicked out of the race, right? I don't want that for you. So don't get in my lane. We can run next to each other, don't get in my lane, and I will get in yours. People try to get in my lane all the time. People that get to know me after a while, they just see I'm a regular guy. They start trying to hone in on, yeah, you know what, I got some really better ideas than it. Well, like, yeah, those are good ideas. But stay in your lane, because you'll be taken out from the race, because in a race, when you're running the track and you're in somebody else's lane, they automatically disqualify you. And if you mess with the guy or the person in that other lane, that's going to cost you. That's just that's in the athletic realm. And it's true in the prophetic realm, exactly. Legally, you open yourself up to being disqualified, not from heaven. If you're born again, you disqualify yourself from any kind of finishing a race. So keep that in mind, please. I love everybody's ideas. People have some of the most amazing ideas, things I would have never thought of. But if they don't fit into this, they don't fit in, period. All right? So don't be offended if I say, no, that doesn't fit in. It'll fit in somewhere great, I'm sure it will. But just don't try to shove that piece of puzzle into a piece of puzzle that doesn't work. That will be really, really not good. All right, everyone, it's been Tuesday night. It's been awesome. Tomorrow night, we prophesy and pray over everybody who wants prayer, and we love doing it, as you know. It's our favorite thing to do. Pray over people. I love prophesying over people. I just love it. Keeps me down to earth, and it makes me feel really good at the same time. You know, sometimes I know a lot of prophets that get tired of prophesying to people because Kim Clement was one of them. Kim Clement was a great man of God, awesome man of God, but he got so used to getting behind that piano and whatever and going at it. It was amazing. But he would tell you, I watched him say it, I paid close attention to those things. He said, minister to people personally, he just wasn't into it I don't know how much he was, but he wasn't into it. He said, I don't really do that. So don't come here expecting everybody to get to work. That's what he said. And that's his lane. So we don't tell him how to run his lane, right? So don't tell me how to run mine, I won't tell you how to run yours. And we'll all stay within the spiritual law of faith and be successful. All right, if nobody has any more questions for me, let me see if I got text here. There we go. Then cash out to the bank. Okay, Shannon, I missed your. Okay, they can sell it, then cash out to bank, then go buy gold. Correct. I heard BlackRock is buying lots of gold to use it as a weapon. Yeah, I saw that video. I'm not sure how much I'm for that, as far as I understand that sometimes these people use this really cool looking information to cause people to make panic decisions. And that's what I didn't like about that video. I watched that video. I watched a lot of that video. And anytime you know somebody's trying to sell you something, double look at it as potential trying to get you stirred up about something that's not stirrable in the way that they're trying to stir it up. They had a lot of good information in there because I know about this stuff, you know, as God gives it to me. But the spirit behind it appeared to be panic shopping, trying to get people to, you know, lose their minds and just make decisions off of what he's saying. And that's his whole strategy there. And a lot of his information is good information. But what they do is they mix good information with their own information and try to make it sell. And I hate that stuff, honestly. That's why I tell people, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to sell you anything. If you go something with Texas Depository and they say, well, we want to, you know, give whoever told you, just don't even give them my name. That's not my motive. I have no motive about any of that at all. I know it's hard to believe, maybe, but trust me, I have no, I'm not trying to get anything off of you. God blesses me for giving, you know, for God so loved the world that he gave. And my calling is in ministry is giving. Giving my life, giving my information, whatever God gives me, it becomes mine, and then it becomes mine, then I, you know, take accountability of it, and I put it out there because God showed it to me. God so loved the world that He gave, and that's what I do. And I'm not spending my time trying to find ways to get money for people. I got too much cool stuff going on. I don't even need to do that. And it's not that I have a bunch of money, because I don't, but it's that God takes care of me. And we made that decision for 90% of our wealth in our ministry, and we had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars saved up. 90%? Wow. Yeah, for God's people, no strings attached, nothing. If you ever want to quit giving to PTN, God tells you to go some other way, then do it, man. Do what God tells you to do. We don't need your money if it's just you giving money. If God's having you do it, then give it with all your heart. You better do it. If God's telling you right, hey, you might want to, because it'll bless you in more ways than just getting a kickback on the gold and silver. All right, really, really awesome. Okay, I think I've talked myself into a peaceful sleep. Got it. All they're good at making a person anxious. That's a good way to say it. They make a person anxious. They're very good at it. They're very talented, and a lot of information. See, what's really tricky about this, and I listened to most of that video, like I told you earlier. I take it serious. I take this stuff seriously. And if I can listen to it, I will, and then I go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And they had a lot of good information. That's what makes it really scary and powerful, is that they use a lot of good information, and then they mix it with their stuff, and it becomes, like you said, creates anxiety. That's a good way to say it. All right, Angela from South Carolina, please keep me in prayer. I have a bad kink in the left side of my head. Oh my gosh. I overworked myself shoveling out my barn. Blessings. Oh, it's Andrea. It's not Angela. She's working in the barn, man. She's shoveling, you know what? Fertilizer. Not done, fertilizer. Fertilizer makes it more powerful, right? I mean, she didn't say that. She said shoveling out the barn. Bless your heart. Dear Jesus, help our friend tonight. We just bless her tonight. We bless Andrea tonight in Jesus' name. Bless, bless, bless. Open her heart, God. Open her. We just speak over her. That adjustment will be made in her back and her spinal cord and her nervous system. In the name of Jesus, by miracles, we believe your name represents making people whole. Even if we do overdo it. I've done that many times. Many times. Many times. Boy, do I know about making mistakes or getting carried away. I can do it. Okay, I think that's it for me tonight. Thank you for sending that, Andrea, that prayer request. Thank you, Jesus. So if you guys don't have anything for me, I'm gonna call it a night. Yeah, right? Because what is we gonna talk about? I mean, I got a lot of things to talk about, but if I add any more to what I've already given, it's gonna blow your mind. I've already talked about so much stuff tonight. We talked about IRAs tonight at the request of one of our friends, Carmen, and so yeah, that was some major information that we gave. I'm glad you reminded me about that, because I forgot about that. Giving it to yeah, giving it. So we gave it. It's out there. We did it. Thank you, Jesus. All right, Michelle Bachman. Nicole got that one right on. Carmen, you are welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. She says thank you. You're welcome for that. Yes, Michelle Bachman. Thank you, Nicole, for that one. That was like earlier in the show tonight. Yeah, Nicole. I forget what year that was. That was. I know Julie was still alive. Yeah, so I don't know. I have to look that up. Okay. Okay, I found that video. She's talking here about it. If you want that information, I can give it to you right now. It's called End Times in News Headlines. All right, I found it here. I'm trying to get it some. Okay, y'all, give me a minute here. I am working on something. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna go, and we will talk